Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And Jesus Christ, it's going to be a nasty summer, everyone. It's going to be a nasty summer. Um, as you guys know, recently I talked about and praised Drake's Duppy Freestyle, his response to Pusha T's Infrared, which was off of his new record Daytona, which is a great record, gave it a very positive review. So now that that is out of the way, coming out of Duppy, I mean, I really enjoyed what Drake did. I think he got really personal with it. He kind of tore him apart, called into question Push's whole career and his whole, I guess, narrative that goes into a lot of his songs, so on and so forth. Called out a bit of hypocrisy on the whole ghost writing or collaborating thing. I talked about all of it, how I was happy that even though I think Drake did a great job taking a lot of what Pusha T said to task, I was really happy that Pusha T finally cornered him on the whole ghostwriting thing in a way that Meek Mill, for whatever reason, was just not able to. Now, Pusha, I hoped he would respond, even though you could have said maybe early on, like, damn, you've been throwing bars at Drake for years. Like, why now? Why for so long? You've been throwing bars at Drake and Wayne for long, long, long periods of time. Like, if this doesn't get a response, it's just going to seem maybe like a little desperate. It's heat. It's done well, but if there's no response, it's going to seem like a little, I don't know, like you're trying too hard. But hey, Drake came through with a response, and Push just had to give it to him. He had to give it back. And God, he went so hard in the other direction. This was so fucking overkill. And it makes me scared for Drake responding because maybe Push will respond back even harder than this. Like, let's just talk about the cover over here first, man. Fuck. This image of Drake is not a very pretty image. I mean, look, most, if not all of us, can agree that Drake is a black man. And I feel like in one sense he is completely entitled to making the kind of artistic statement, excuse me, I assume he's making with this image, which is not photoshopped, it's not altered at all. It's been confirmed that this is a real image. The original photographer of the image came out and essentially admitted this, or sort of clarified or confirmed this. And I mean, Drake or his photographer or butthurt Drake stans had gone as far as to flag this image on Pusha T's Instagram, sort of saying, "Oh, this is a third-party owned piece of copyright, intellectual property, so on and so forth." So clearly, somebody out there wanted that picture down off of Pusha T's Instagram. Didn't want him to continue scoring attention points off of it. So, I mean, maybe Drake is kind of embarrassed by this photo. I mean, I kind of find the artistic statement of it difficult to swallow given Drake's music. That he has sort of expressed lines in his music before that I've pointed out that are really kind of horrendous and ugly toward women who he may be dating who are from lesser means than him, and I'll send you back to the where you came from, and so on and so forth. And to me, just reads as like very, very pretentious and disconnected from whatever experiences those people might be going through. It's moments like that and many others that kind of make it difficult to swallow this statement from Drake, even though, again, I think he is well within his right to make it, I guess. But the thing is, Pusha T has clearly been able to effectively take this picture and portray it in such a way where it's really hard to swallow. It's very hard to swallow. I mean, maybe if it were another time, another place, Drake kind of explained the origins of this photo, it would be a little softened as far as the impact of it. But man, this photo hits hard, and it only sort of adds like 100 points on Pusha T's board before we even hear the fucking song. And I feel like this image adds context to that line out of Infrared where Pusha T was going on about dancing for crackers and singing Mammy and so on and so forth. It makes me feel like he anticipated or he wanted a response, and he had this picture fucking locked and loaded. There are some people responding to this whole thing saying, hey, I think it's fake. I think it's fake beef. I think it's all orchestrated, so on and so forth. Maybe at the start, I was a little skeptical on that front because I was just thinking, damn, why does Pusha T, why is he so insistent on this? Like, it's been so long. Why is he insistent on making this happen, making this beef happen? But I can't imagine that Drake would have been for putting this picture out there in the way that it's been put out there. I can't imagine that Drake would have been pro this. I can't imagine this would have been Drake's plan. But let's go into some of the lyrics on this one because it gets pretty nasty. You know, these tracks so far, with Pusha going not only at Drake but Wayne and Birdman, and then Drake going at Pusha, and then Kanye, and then mentioning his significant other in the song as well, and putting his brother's name in his mouth. These diss tracks aren't really as laser focused as much as they are like shotgun blasts, and he's aiming directly at Drake. Drake is aiming directly at Pusha, but whoever else is like in the area around them, they're getting fucking hit too, and it's nasty. So drug dealing aside, ghostwriting aside, let's have a heart-to-heart about your pride. Even though you're multi, he says that the money's getting split up between him and Birdman, and however many people are getting split up, it's getting split up between beyond that. And, essentially calling Drake's numbers and his means into question. Because really, what is he doing and what is he making when he's only getting a slice of the overall pie that he's kind of baking with his music? Then he goes on to totally just make fun of his dad, leaving his mom, and making fun of the way his dad looks, with the suits that he wears, talking about his mom sort of being a single mother, just like really early on in the track, just like getting really to the heart of some of Drake's insecurities, like, fuck, really nasty. And then he calls into question Drake's racial insecurity, which I have talked about before in some of my Drake reviews as well. There's really kind of a sense in his music that he just feels kind of uncomfortable or feels almost like he's behind the curve or missing something when it comes to a lot of his contemporaries in the rap game. Like he's just not, despite his success, kind of reaching the same audiences he does. He doesn't have the same reaching the same audiences they do. He doesn't have the same street cred that they do, so on and so forth. He's not as welcomed with open arms into the hip hop community as a lot of other rappers are, who may come into the game with the kind of credibility that Drake didn't. I think now a lot of that has kind of come and gone because Drake, his music influences so many from the top to the bottom in the hip hop game. But it's very apparent that there's still some kind of sensitivity there, even though in a lot of respects, Drake, in terms of attention and numbers, he's at the top. There was still that grace period where he just was not respected, and he was merciless. He was just mercilessly clowned left, right, and center. Outside of people who just kind of loved more of the pop rap blends coming out of the genre, and just white people who didn't really listen to hip hop at all. And then there was that whole, usual attack angle on him that, he was kind of a woman's rapper and that sort of thing because his songs were romantic and sensitive and so on and so forth. So I feel like Pusha T is kind of getting to the heart of something here that comes up in Drake's music and his actions pretty often that certainly he's pretty sensitive about. I don't know. Pusha, he comes off like somebody who has really studied Drake's Achilles heels, his soft spots, and he's just really kind of putting him on blast. And then here's like the explosion portion of this song that everybody's kind of on about. He essentially brings up this allegation that Drake has pretty much slept with a former porn star, now painter, and has fathered a child with this person, and he has a secret baby with this person, and he's basically a deadbeat dad. So he's pretty much reenacting that cycle of just not being very present as a father that Pusha T brought up earlier in the song, which, man, it's actually really ugly. And Pusha T saying, hey, you know, bring her into your life and take care of that kid and so on and so forth. And he even knows the kid's name. Man. And yeah, he sort of says, I'm pre-booking the churches for the 3 hearses for obviously, you know, him and Wayne and Baby and so on and so forth. Or, you know, maybe he's being a little bit more self-aware about that and saying, as he goes on to later to say, you know, if we all go to hell, it'll be worth it. Saying like, I'm so hard on this. I'm so into this idea. I'm so deep into this beef. I want to get at you so badly. I don't even care if it kills me. Which to me is what that line sort of says. If it, maybe not literally, but if this beef goes so south and so sour that even I see some kind of negative backlash from it, it's going to be worth it in the end for him, which is crazy. That, you know, Pusha T has had such a great career. He puts out such quality music most of the time. It's it's strange to sort of hear him just really so aggressive with this, really just so no holds barred with it. He has so much status, and yet he's performing in a way where it's like he has nothing to fucking lose. Then this 40 line is pretty nasty too, saying OVO 40 hunched over like he 80. Oh my God. Oh, poor 40. Poor 40. Poor Noah. Poor Noah. But yeah, again, that's kind of the thing with these cuts. Like anybody who is in the area, you're getting hit. Anyone who's in the immediate vicinity, bam, you're done. Like you're getting put into the track. I think I think Drake kind of opened up these floodgates a little bit. You know, while in one sense it might have been a little personal for Drake because he loves Lil Wayne, and I'm sure he has a somewhat of a relationship with Birdman too. I'm sure for Drake it felt personal, but I think on Infrared, because the people who Push was talking about, he kept it in the entertainment industry. I feel like Drake made it personal. You know, he literally put his significant other's name in his mouth, and I feel like Drake opened those doors and allowed this allowed this to happen without really appreciating just how much embarrassing information there is out there about him. And I kind of wonder if Drake has the ghostwriters coming into the studio right now. They're working hard on the response track, and simultaneously, I wonder if he's got some hackers or internet sleuths on the job, just like trying to look up some information about Push that's going to embarrass him or sort of put him under or something. Because God, it is so personal and ugly right now. I don't know how it could get any worse. Like really, how it could get any worse is if Push has more. And this is a single verse, you know, it's a long one, but if for whatever reason Push has more info, he has more dirt, he has more something, he gets Drake's baby mom featured on the next disc. Unless he finds a way to get more dirt on Drake for the second serving here, I don't know how it could get uglier. So those are my thoughts on this. I mean, this was so much more savage than I ever could have imagined. Like, I knew if Push responded lyrically, it would have been good. You know, there's some sharp lines in here. This one line about what is it? Here, this one was really good. Already aligned with the greats, and on that same note, the only ones I chase are two ghosts. Obviously, let me see, talking about over there. I thought so. B.I.G. and Tupac. But I thought that line was pretty poetic. Was pretty smart. Damn, man, this was savage. I knew Pusha T was gonna bring good lyrics, but I didn't know he was gonna have like the TMZ style dirt. I didn't know he was gonna have the TMZ style expose on Drake. It's deadly, man. It's deadly. I mean, as long as Drake keeps coming out with those radio hits, I mean, nothing's going to stop him, honestly. I don't think either artist is really in a position to end either artist's career right now because Drake is so heavily influential. He's so at the top. His stans and his fans will listen to him as long as he continues to give to them what they want. And I feel like Pusha T is very much in the same position because, you know, as an artist, in a lot of ways, he's just unparalleled. He's so skilled as a lyricist. He just has a one-of-a-kind delivery and voice. So it's kind of like we're watching these two Goliaths go at each other who are just socking the hell out of each other. And while they can really kind of ruin one another's image and reputation, you know, as long as they continue dropping the music that their fans want, that their fans desire, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And of course, labels are looking at this whole beef and they're like, oh my God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. So I'm sure Daytona's seeing a good chunk of extra sales as a result of all of this. I mean, you know, Push being the businessman that he is, you know, drop that nice Daytona reference right there at the very finish of the fucking freestyle. Jesus Christ, of the diss track rather. All right, those are my thoughts. This is getting disgusting. This is getting absolutely disgusting, and I don't know what else to say about it. I'm hype. I'm hype as fuck forever.